Hello, it says that I'm live. Welcome me, because there's nobody else here. I'm talking to myself. But that's how these always start. Hello, and welcome back. It's the first Friday of September already. That is craziness. Welcome to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff. Gonna talk to the people in the future because there's nobody here right now. But people will stumble across it eventually, hopefully. And if they don't, we will just, I'll be talking to future people. That's you, future person who's watching this in the future. I do this show on the first Friday of every month where I talk about things that I've done over the last month, things that I'm going to do in the next month. Sometimes I actually make a thing, sometimes I don't. This time I'm not going to, but I got some news coming up about the channel. Oh, people are starting to stumble in. That's cool. If somebody could say something to let me know that they're here, you can tell me where you're at, where you're watching from. Get the chat rocking a little bit. You guys can talk to each other. You can talk to me. All that kind of good stuff. I got one of my pens that I've been making. These things have been flying. I took about 30 of these to a market right after I made them, and I sold, I think, 20 of them at the market. And then Fairbanks, Alaska, and Maryland are here. Nice. All right. Couple of Americans. I was actually going to get, I have mostly American fans, actually, I think. So I was going to get American beer to have tonight. But none of it looked delicious. None of the options that I have in my store around the corner looked delicious. So I didn't want to drink Coors Light or Bud Light, which were pretty much the two American options that I had. Maybe I'm going to try to find some kind of like delicious American beer at some point in the future, and I'll try to leave it in the fridge for a live show. I do this show on the first Friday of every month where I have some discussions. We talk about stuff. This month, September already somehow, I'm going to talk about what I did in August, and we're going to talk about some changes that are going to be happening to the channel in the next little while. But we'll get to that eventually. Let's start with what I did in August. The videos that went up on the channel in August, I started the month with one of these, and I actually did a live turning. I turned a bowl on my lathe last time. We'll get to more of that in a moment. I made my first pens in at the end of July, but the video went up in August. I did my Mike's Maker Moment series where I talk about little tips and tricks to help you out in the shop, and the last one was making a dowel block, where you drill a hole in a block of wood to take to the store when you're buying commercial dowels to make sure that they're going to fit in the holes that you're drilling for them. Really, really handy tip. If you're watching this in the future, I will leave a link up in the corner to that, because that's a handy thing to remember, because commercial dowels are not the size they say they are, nor are your Forstner bits, likely. I made market display racks for my charcuterie boards and my pens, and that video went up. I did an edition of my favorite tool right now, which were my squidgy clamps, because they came in super handy last month, and they always come in super handy. You need a fleet of those. I will leave a link to that up there as well if you're watching this in the future. And then I did my birthday bowl. I went live on my birthday, and I turned a bowl that's going to be, I should go get it, but I'm probably not going to. A bowl that I turned on my birthday as a giveaway on my Patreon page. So if you want to hop on board my Patreon page, help the channel out, help me keep doing what I'm doing, it's patreon.com/woodenthingsandstuff. And the first Friday of October, I'm going to be giving out that bowl that I turned on my birthday to one of my patrons over there. So go hop on board. Sonora, California. Jake Reynolds is back. How's it going, Jake? I think that's all the videos. I'm good, Jake, man. It's been an interesting, we'll get to it. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. I made a bunch of bowls for the market. I didn't film those. I made a bunch of pens for the market. I've got these things sold so well that I had to order another 60 pen kits to make sure that I have enough inventory both on my Etsy store and for Christmas markets, which theoretically will happen this year, maybe. If they don't, I'm going to have 60 pens. I made a couple more painting panels. If you have been watching the channel for a while, you might know about the painting panels that I make, both for myself to paint on and for other people. And I got my plane shelves finally up, because I got, if you remember, this used to be a bunch of saws and stuff, but they went up in here, and then I was going to put plane shelves up here. So I finally got my plane wall organized. I didn't film that because it's literally, I was just milling pieces of maple and putting dowels in the back of them and then putting them in the wall. So I didn't think that would be that interesting for people. But that is a pretty productive August overall. I'm crooked again. Is that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, pretty productive August, all things considered. But the productivity is coming to a halt. It's not coming to a halt. It's going to be slowing down in September, because I just got recalled to work, and I was on a COVID economic layoff for 5 months, which helped my productivity in the shop significantly. But I got recalled to work, so I'm not going to have nearly as much time in the shop as I did in August. So I'm still going to try and do weekly-ish videos, but I think what's going to end up happening, let's talk about the changes that are coming to the channel. I'm going to keep doing my Mike's Maker Moments, where I give out tips and tricks and little things to keep in mind when you're making stuff. I'm going to try to keep doing my favorite tool right now as a recurring show. I'm probably going to only get one project video up per month, because I just don't have that much time to be making projects. And I have decided that I am going to do more live shows, because YouTube likes it when you post frequently and regularly. And the only way that I can realistically do that while I'm working at my regular job is to do live shows with you guys. And so the plan is that now every Friday, instead of the first Friday of the month, every Friday, at a time that I will determine works for people. 5:30 works for me, but if people aren't showing up, I might change the time. I'm going to go live and I'm going to turn something on Fridays at 5:30 every week and see how that goes. It'll make me more productive over on the lathe if I'm having to force myself to do it every Friday. So I've got a dozen bowl blanks ready to go. And I figure I'll throw one up on the lathe every Friday and turn the camera on and see if people want to come along and watch. And if they don't, I'll just talk to myself and turn something. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that's the only way that I can realistically see myself getting regular content up on the channel that YouTube likes when you do. So that is what's going to be happening moving forward. I'm going to try it for a month and see what happens. If people tune in and watch, then I'll keep doing it. And if they don't, then I'll, do something else or not do that. I don't know. We're just having fun. Anybody having bevies tonight? It's Friday. Welcome to September. Tell me if you're having drinks. Yeah, I do have a couple of Q&A things. Once in a while, I post over on Patreon for people to ask questions for me for the live show. So I have a couple of questions that I'm going to answer for you guys, and then might be a short show this week. I was going to say this month, but if they're going to be weekly, it's this week. Because I'm going to answer these questions and have my beer, and then I'm going to go fire up the grill and have some hot dogs. Okay. Anybody ever have spicy hot dogs? I've never had a spicy hot dog, but my mom bought the wrong packs of hot dogs by accident, and she didn't like them, so she gave them to me, and I don't know if I'm going to like them either, but we're going to try them tonight. We're going to try spicy hot dogs. I don't know about that, but we'll find out. And if you guys have questions, you can fire them in the chat, and I'll go through them if I miss. I'll scroll up if I miss them while I'm reading or talking or whatever. I am going to let you guys who are here this week, this episode, vote on what I turn next Friday. So I'll show you the options that I've got over here to my left. And if you're watching live, you can vote live. If you're watching this after, you can vote down in the comments for what you want to. Beckham Krasniki, welcome, my friend. How are you? If you just joined, I have some news about what's going on with the channel in September. So I'll go through it again after I answer some questions from Patreon. Beckham, maybe you didn't see my post on Patreon to ask questions for the show, but you're here, so you can ask them live if you want. Amy Gersh asked over on Patreon, what do you wish you knew before starting with wood turning? What do I wish I knew before I started wood turning? I wish I knew that you want a good lathe. I mean, I do and I don't. I'm glad that I started with the cheap little mini lathe thing, but it got frustrating really fast, and I could see someone else getting frustrated with it and not continuing. Instead of, like, I decided that I liked it enough that I was going to go buy a real lathe. But a lot of people, I think, would be better off buying a real lathe if they think they're going to like it, because having a crappy lathe makes you not like it, or could very easily make you not like it. So I wish I knew that you want a real proper lathe to get into turning in order to give yourself the best chance of liking it. She also asks, what did you think you knew but were wrong about in regards to wood turning? I thought it was going to be easier. People make it look really easy on the internet. Like wood turners on YouTube, they just, they got a piece of metal and they stick it in the spinning piece of wood and it's a bowl. They just nice fluffy, like curly shavings go flying over their shoulder and then it's a bowl. And it looks a lot easier than it is. So I was wrong about how easy wood turning is. I think it's probably, and I also thought, I guess I didn't think it was cleaner than it is, but I didn't realize how messy it is, because you don't see the huge piles of shavings when people are wood turning on video. But man, it makes a god-awful mess. But I don't know that I didn't know that. It wasn't something I thought of. You do a lot of sweeping when you get into wood turning. The third question Amy asked over on YouTube. Jake, I'll get to that in a second. I'm going to answer Amy's last one, and then we'll talk to that. Does Canada ever burn? Is what Amy asked as her third question, because she's in California, and California is on fire, apparently. California is currently on fire, and I think it's uncommon for the rest of the planet to also always be on fire. She admits that Australia seems like it's always on fire as well. So when I saw this question, I actually went and dug up some stats. because we do actually light on fire every year. Huge swaths of land up here burn. Part of the reason that we love living in British Columbia, Canada, is because of all the wilderness and wildlife and forests and mountains and stuff. And whenever you got forests, you got fires. So, as an example, last year, 2019 stats, this year's actually not too bad. But last year, we got off light and we only had 825 fires in the province, like wildfires. That burned 21,138 hectares of land. That's not insignificant. 2018, we had 2,117 wildfires in British Columbia. This is just in my province in Canada. It's a big province compared to the states, the individual states. Like I don't know how many Californias would fit in British Columbia, but it's quite a few. But 2,117 fires in 2018 that burned 1,354,000 hectares. 1,354,000 hectares. That's 5,300 square miles of forest that burned. So that's not great. In 2017, we had fewer fires, 1,353 wildfires in 2017, but almost about the same amount of hectares burned. 1.2 million hectares burned in BC in 2017. So yeah, we consistently light on fire. But the advantage that we have in BC is that BC is really big, and comparatively, our population is not. I don't know what the population of BC is right now, maybe like 6 million, something like that. And so we're pretty spread out. I mean, there's a couple of clusters of people, obviously, but most of our remote wilderness is not heavily populated. So you don't hear about evacuations and things. It's not huge news when BC starts on fire because people aren't generally in trouble because of it. It's yeah. So, but I mean, there was it 2017, 2016? The fires did actually start encroaching on towns, and lots of people got evacuated and houses burnt and stuff. So it does happen. You don't use hectares? What do you use? Square miles? Really? Okay. Well, square mile is, I don't know. You're going to have to look it up. I did the calculation, but I don't remember what hectare to square mile is. But 1.3 million hectares is 5,300 square miles. Yeah, acres, I believe a hectare is 16 acres. I don't know that for a fact. For some reason, that's what came to mind, but I don't. You might want to look that up too, because that could be wrong. But I mean, if you think about it, 1,400 square miles on average per year burn in British Columbia. So that's not insignificant. And next province over in Alberta, in 2016, they had an almost 600,000 hectare wildfire in northern Alberta that evacuated 90,000 people. So yeah, we burn. I don't know that. I think we burn like California does. It's just most of the time it's remote and it's not threatening. So that's the burn situation. We're getting off light this year though. We haven't been lighting on fire. And thankfully, I live on Vancouver Island in BC, which is a temperate rainforest ecosystem. So we're pretty wet, and we generally will get a few little spot fires, but they get put out pretty quickly because they don't spread real fast. That's it. What was Jake asking her? What do you do for a living? I have you playing on the flat screen in the living room. Hello. Hello, Jake's wife. I am a newspaper reporter. I'm a journalist, a multimedia journalist is technically my position. Reporter, photographer, guy for newspapers and online. And yeah, I was off for 5 months layoff and started back on Monday. So changes are coming to the channel because I'm not going to be out in the shop nearly as much. I don't have the energy after putting in 8 hours at a desk to come out to the shop and start making stuff most of the time. But I will continue. I will soldier on, as it were. So let's have a vote. There's a few people here watching, so you guys get first votes on what I'm going to turn next Friday night. Because if you weren't here for the announcement, I'm going to do a live show every Friday night now. And I'm going to turn something. I'm going to throw something up on the lathe every Friday night. And you guys can come along and watch the disaster as it unfolds, or the beauty that it becomes, depending on how things are going that day. All right, so the options for next Friday's turn. I've got a piece of myrtle. I've never turned myrtle, but it looks interesting. It's got some interesting colorations in it. It's, I want to say 8. Let's check. I want to say it's an 8-inch. It's a 7-inch by 2.5. So it'll make a nice little dish of some kind. That's a 7-inch too. That's really light. What is this? Sweet chestnut. Never turned chestnut either. But it's got some cool, like, almost flaming stuff happening in it. But it's super light. It's not very dense. So that would be interesting. So myrtle, chestnut. I got this piece of elm. This is a bigger guy. It's about 10. Yep. 10 by 3 deep. Piece of elm. I've never turned elm. So 3 things that I've never even tried turning before are options. We got, what is this? We got a 7 by deeper, 7 by 3 and a bit, probably. Almost 3 exactly. A piece of acacia, which is cool stuff. I have turned 1 acacia bowl. It's kind of like oak. It's got a very sort of open, porous grain structure, but it's heavy and hard. So it's kind of interesting, and it comes out like almost a bright yellow, which is kind of cool. Acacia is an option. I've got, oh, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. This piece of flamed maple. That's, I want to say 10 as well. 9 maybe, 9 by 2.5-ish. Flame maple, blank. And the last option is this big hunk of cherry. That's got to be 10 as well. 10 by 3. Hunk of cherry. That's going to be pretty nice if I don't screw it up. So that's your vote. You got chestnut, elm, acacia, myrtle, flame maple, or cherry for next week's show. I don't know. What do you guys want? Any votes? I think I personally, I don't know, chestnut might be cool. It's really light though. It might just tear apart because I'm not really very good. This flame maple is pretty spectacular looking. That would probably get my vote. Yeah, I've never seen chestnut either on the rack at my wood blank store. Next town over, there's a specialty shop that has bowl blanks that I go down and grab a handful of once in a while. It's where I got my lathe. And he always, I grab a handful of them and he just throws one in for free. So he's a super nice guy. And I saw the chestnut up there. I was like, I've never tried chestnut. Jake says flame maple. Yeah, that's tempting. I think that's going to make a pretty cool little It's skinny for how big or round it is, but it would make a cool dish. Or like, I don't know. Maybe I'll put a poll up on my Facebook page and over on Patreon. You guys can vote too. People down in the comments, if you're watching this after, can vote. Jake gets 5 votes for Maple because he's here and he's voting on the live show. So 5 for Flame Maple. Beckham, what do you think, my man? You thinking chestnut? Oh, it's a hot one today. That's pretty much all I got for today. Like I said, it's going to be a short show unless people have questions. Maybe Jake's wife has another question. Jake, what's your wife's name? I don't want to call her Jake's wife all the time. Put my squidgy clamp back. Oh, get up there. All right, well, fine. Don't talk. I don't care. I'm just sit here and have my beer. Went with the Sleeman Honey Brown this evening. It's not too rich, not too sweet, but has the right level of flavor for how I was feeling today. I'm not a big fan of like the light, like North American lager type beers. I mean, I can drink them. They're nice on a smoking hot day after you've been out mowing the lawn or whatever. The chunk of elm's cool. It's got like a big streak of sapwood going through that side. Ooh, that side too. Sapwood on either side of this big chunk of elm. That could be interesting. But I'll let everybody else decide. Jake said he's got 5 votes already for Flame Maple. We got the same beard? Had a guy. All right, Beckham gets 5 votes for the chestnut. You guys are tied. Emily, hello, Emily. Your husband has a glorious beard, by the way. Oh yeah, it's a 2 beer kind of show. Maybe 3 if people keep talking. You guys can keep me down here, and then I don't have to go up and try these spicy hot dogs. What's that? Why do you even make? What's wrong with hot dogs? You got to add a bunch of spices to them. Hot dogs are just fine. Stop wrecking them. Spicy hot dog. The spicy hot dogs were so bad. Okay, my parents are very frugal people. Okay, and these hot dogs, these spicy hot dogs, were so bad that my parents gave away things that they'd purchased because they couldn't eat them. And they're not people that like don't like spice either. They eat spicy food just the same as anybody else, but not the hot dogs. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. I do have other things to say, but I don't want to be depressing. I think I want to be uplifting. I like having fun, but there's some serious stuff going on in the world right now. I don't know what the hell is wrong with everybody. Like, when did it become weird to be nice to each other? Like, I don't know, people are just like, have people always been assholes to each other? And I just refused to notice, like, how much? Or are people getting worse? Because it seems like people are being worse to each other than they used to. Or I'm just noticing it more. I don't know. Next big project, Jake Reynolds. What's the next big project that I have in mind? I am going to make a sharpening cabinet for the corner of the shop. In this style of cabinet, but a floor standing, over beside the lathe, where I'm going to have a top drawer that has my sharpening stones and honing jigs and the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm going to get a slow speed grinder to put on top of it for my lathe chisels, and then a cabinet on the bottom. So a drawer and an open closed cabinet on the bottom, floor standing over there. I don't know what's going to go in the cabinet. Maybe my routers, because my routers don't really have a good place to live. But it's going to be a not insignificant project, because making a cabinet like this as a floor standing, sort of a frame and panel kind of a deal, it's actually going to be sort of practice, another practice piece in advance of my sideboard project that I want to do. So it's kind of like a trial run, little mini version of the Matt Cremona sideboard from the Wood Whisperer Guild, that I'm going to use as a sharpening station is the next major project. And that might get done in September. It might not. I'm going to start it Sunday, I think. Maybe, depending on how I'm feeling on Sunday. It might be next weekend. But actually, I might start it. I'm going to start it this week. How's that? I'm going to make a decision, and I'm going to start my sharpening cabinet. What? It's not a sideboard. It's not a hutch. It's like, what do you call it? What, a floor standing cabinet? What do you call that? Is it just a cabinet? It's not a desk, really. It's, I don't know. My sharpening station, I'm going to start this week. So I will start that and start filming that. And then next Friday, we will turn something. And at some point in the next couple of weeks, I will have a favorite tool of right now that I determine during the build on the sharpening station, probably. And maybe a little tip that I stumble across or remember while I'm making my sharpening station for the week after. And we'll turn something that week too. And yeah, we'll just move forward. Soldier on. Keep on keeping on and whatnot. Right? That's all you can do in life, is make the best decisions you can with the information that's put before you, and then live with the consequences of those decisions, and then try to make new good ones. That's all you can do. And be nice to people. God. I'm happy with the plain wall. I need a number 6 for that top shelf. And then it goes 6, 5.5, 62, 5, 4.5, 4, and then a couple extra 4s, and then my little edge guide, my little round over dealy plane for 1/8 inch roundovers. So that you should probably get one of these if you do edge treatments and you use a router to do 1/8 inch roundovers on stuff. Get one of these instead. My Shinto rasp that I still haven't used, but I needed to own, because I'm sure that at some point I will need it. My planes that I made, another 5 with a corrugated bottom that I found cheap on Facebook. I need to do some work on a bunch of these, which is going to be an upcoming future project. Me trying to rehabilitate. Me trying to fix a plane and make it work properly is going to be an upcoming video at some point. Because I need a new tote for this guy because it's cracked. And And they all just kind of need a little love. Yeah, block plane, my little, this guy. Oh. And then eventually, I'm gonna get rid of these to fill this section here with a shoulder plane probably and a rotor plane, because I think those are things that I need to own. So another question. And a plane that doesn't bust the budget. What's a good all-around hand plane if you don't want a whole collection of planes? This guy right here. This is my low angle jack plane. I don't know about the budget part. This is a $300 plane from Lee Valley. It's the Veritas low angle jack. Gets 90% of my workload. My planing is done with this. It's a hell of a tool. It like I have trouble spending money sometimes, but I talked myself into this one on Cyber Monday last year. Every Cyber Monday at midnight, Lee Valley puts on their factory seconds. So this one has a little chip in the Japanning right here that you can barely even notice, but it didn't make it through quality control at Veritas. That's how tight their tolerances are. And so they put their factory seconds on sale on Cyber Monday every year. Whatever they can't sell at regular quality level, they put somewhere between 10 and 15% off, I think, maybe 20. So that $299 Canadian plane I got for, I want to say $250, $240 plus tax, free shipping. And it hurt to buy it. Like, it's not a pleasant experience, but using it really is. And as soon as you put it on a piece of wood and you see the difference, you know why. You know why it's a $300 plane as soon as you use it. Like, it's so nice. So it was my first, I think it was my first ever favorite tool right now video was that plane. It's phenomenal. But yeah, in terms of budget friendly, you can make a $20 hand plane from Facebook or Craigslist work. You just have to put the effort in. And if you're going to put in $300 worth of effort, just buy the $300 plane. It's a low angle jack plane. Yeah, Beckham, it is called the Veritas low angle jack. I believe it's a number 62.5 in the numbering system. Lee Nielsen apparently has a fantastic one as well. If you're an American and you like supporting American, I believe it's about the same price point. But I don't think they make as many, so you might be on back order down there. But yeah, low angle jack. The difference between that and a number 5, Beckham asks. Okay. So that's a 5.5. This is a number 5. So it's about the same length, maybe another ½ inch long. But the difference is the angle of attack. So the low angle jack is a low angle, obviously, and it's a bevel up. So the bevel on the iron is pointed this way as opposed to this one where the bevel is pointed down. So the angle of attack that the blade is engaging with the wood with a number 5 is based on the angle of the frog in the plane rather than the bevel on the iron. So the difference is that you can sharpen a number 5 iron to whatever angle you want. It's not going to make a difference because the cutting angle is whatever that frog is set at, which I want to say is about 45 degrees. Whereas with the low angle jack, I can sharpen this or I can get numerous irons and sharpen them to different angles, and then I can adjust the level of attack that the blade has engaging with the wood by changing the bevel angle. So it's bedded at 12 degrees. I sharpen my iron that's in here at 30, so it's a 42 degree angle of attack. But if I buy another iron and sharpen it at 40 degrees, 45 degrees, that say I go to 40, then I can put a 52 degree angle of attack just by switching the blade out. So, and most number 5s don't have an adjustable mouth opening, whereas the 62.5, I can adjust the size of the mouth opening so that if I want a really fine sort of finishing, smoothing shave plane, that was a terrible sentence. If I want to treat it like a smoothing plane, I can close that mouth up and have a really fine shaving without getting tear out, because I can close the mouth right up nice and tight. Or I can crank it wide open and get that blade going deep, and I can hog off material like a 4-plane or excuse me. So yeah, it'll do the same thing as a 5. It'll just do more than a 5. Hopefully that made some kind of sense. A lot of people have a number 5 because there's a ton of number 5s in the world. And it's called, a number 5 is called a jack plane because it is sort of a nice middle of the road plane that can do a lot of work for you. I mean, like I said, you can set it heavy and take off a lot of material, or you can set it light. If it has an adjustable mouth, even if it doesn't, you can just push the frog. Most of them have an adjustment back here where you can move the frog forward and back to open and close the mouth. But the adjustable mouth on the 62 makes it super easy. So you can take smoothing passes and you can take hogging passes. That's why a lot of people have a 5, is because it's pretty versatile. Okay, that's it. We got 5 votes each for figured maple and chestnut. We'll see what the votes come in down in the comments, if any. And then maybe sort of midweek, I'll put a poll up on Facebook, and each of those votes will get 1. And we'll see what wins. And come on back next Friday. Right now it's scheduled for 5:30 next Friday night, PST. So west coast of North America, 5:30 p.m. I will throw whatever wins the vote up on the lathe, and we'll try to make it into something. And maybe by then I'll have the start of a sharpening cabinet. We'll see. I don't know. Everything's changing. Life is moving on. It's just, no preference. No, Beckham, you said chestnut. But you know what? I'll get to all of it eventually. Because if I'm going to do one every week, I'm going to go through these things. But I do have, like I said, I gave you guys 6 options, but I have maybe 14 options. And I've got a Granadillo bowl actually on the lathe right now. You want to see it? It's a little one, but it's really nice, and it's the first time. It's the first time I've turned Granadillo, I think is how you pronounce it. My hair's broken too. It's like it's right messed up. Check out this Granadillo. Look at this. It reminds me of Bubinga. It's like this nice rich red stuff, and it's super heavy and super hard, but man, it shines up good. And I'm looking forward to flipping that around and hollowing out the inside. It's been up there for probably 3 days, and I haven't gotten to the inside of it yet. It's just waiting for me. Right? Yes, that is a pretty wood. And I was gonna get another chunk of it today when I was down at my lathing store. But he didn't have any more. So it's unfortunate, but it's gonna be a nice little dish as long as I don't go through the bottom of it. Maybe that's why I haven't flipped it over yet. Maybe I'm scared of wrecking it. I don't know why I would be though. I wreck lots of bowls. What's any different about that one? Yeah. I think I've found a pretty nice balance in my shop between turning and flat work. I think I don't know a lot of people that have the balance that I do between one and the other. Most people are either turners or they make flat and square things. I don't prefer one or the other. I like them both, so I'm gonna do them both. And if you like one more than the other, then watch those videos instead of the other one. But the thing I like most about turning is the quick win aspect of it. Like the bowl I did on my birthday, I think I went from blank to finished bowl, like actually finished with oil and wax in like an hour and 20 minutes, including talking and sitting down and take the break once in a while. Can't really make a cabinet in an hour and a half. I mean, you could, but it would be a terrible cabinet. Anyway, that's it for this one. I went longer. Impromptu shop tour. All right, Jake, you're on, buddy. We'll start over at the door. Oh, my chair. I gotta set it this way. All right, impromptu shop tour. So, there's the door to my house. I come out here, I come down the stairs. There's my lathe. This way, we got PPE cabinet and licorice. Dartboard. That's my saws and stuff. I'm not going to open it. I've got lots of videos on that thing. Plain wall and mallets and old crappy chisels. Good chisels are in there. Jointer. Empty booze containers. More empty booze containers and my planer. Shop filtration system. Rigid oscillating belt sander with a box on it. Drill press. Another fancy air filtration system. Rikon 10326 bandsaw. Whiskey cabinet. It doesn't have any whiskey in it right now. Some scrap wood. An angle grinder. This is where all my planes used to live before they went up on the wall. Wood rack. This is mahoganies and oaks. That's Douglas fir. That's walnut, cherry, Paduke, cedar, maple. Over here, back under the garage, pine, sapele. Yeah, impromptu shop tour. Nice, I like it. Questions? It was maybe a little fast, but I think you get the idea. And the beer fridge is under the oscillating belt sander. And what else? We got it. I mean, the under the workbench is just random storage and my old lathe. It just collects garbage. Oh, and my my rigid R4512 table saw. What brand is the air filtration system? It is Sunbeam, I think. I don't know. It's just a box fan with an air filter. I need to replace the air filters. I've vacuumed them out enough times that they're kind of demolished a little bit. They're kind of flaking a little bit. So I'm going to replace the filters one of these days. Actually, that is going to be an upcoming video. I'm going to do a what does a shop cleaning entail in my shop. because it is time for me to do a relatively thorough clean where I put things back where they go, because just over time, slowly things migrate to places they don't belong. You got to do a serious vacuum. You got to clean out the cabinet of the table saw, vacuum out the bandsaw, take the leaf blower and blow out the garage for all the loose dust and stuff. Replace the belt on my oscillating belt sander. Put a new blade on the bandsaw. Clean the blades of the table saw. It might be getting close to needing to rotate the cutter heads on my jointer. Just like an overall shop cleanup and maintenance weekend, I think might be of value to people to see, like, what the jointer knives. Change my jointer knives to my fresh ones that I've had sharpened and sitting there waiting to go in for a month. I think that might be of value to people to see what I go through over, like, because maybe once every 4 months I take a weekend and I just like redo the shop. Like, I don't redo it, things still live where they live, but just do a thorough once over. Yeah, you should get yourself an air filtration system. You know what? One of these days I am gonna pony up and buy one of those like ceiling mounted dealies. Probably get the Rikon. Once I bought the bandsaw, I'm a fan of Rikon as a company. They make quality machines at a reasonable price point. I think Rikon is one of those brands that is in that happy zone where you're not overpaying for the level of quality that you're getting. Beckham's air filtration is leaving open. Yeah, that was my method of air filtration. I usually work with the garage door open, and my method of air filtration for the first year that I was working out here was just like hope the wind's going the right way. Which usually it wasn't, because my garage faces west, which is the prevailing wind. But I mean, a couple of box fans, those box fans I think were $16 each, and those filters were probably about the same. So for $60, you got a couple of box fans with a couple of filters on it. It does wonders. Like, you'd be surprised how much dust those filters collect and how often I have to vacuum them out or blow them out with the leaf blower. It's not ideal, but I would at least do one of those. But maybe you're really good at wearing a respirator, so it's not that important. I am not good at wearing a respirator because beard, and it's super uncomfortable, and it doesn't actually, the science, because I believe in science, the science says that the respirator doesn't really do that much for you if you have the giant beard. So I'm gonna get, it's another thing on the list. I want to get one of those helmets, like the big with the air that comes through the filters on the deal, and then like it sucks to your neck. They're like expensive though. I think the cheapest one that I've seen is like 500 American. If I sand pine, I wear a mask, but if I sand walnut or cherry, the dust does not seem to bother me. Careful with walnut. You can, over time, develop a serious allergic situation to walnut, is my recommendation there. I try to sand outside. Like because I'm not good at dust collection and filtration and things. I try to sand outside on breezy days. But it's not always possible. I totally get it. But I would actually be careful with walnut, because I have heard things about how walnut and cedar apparently is like a carcinogen. and will give you serious cancers if you're sanding it and not protecting yourself. But I mean, life is about risk mitigation levels. You know, everybody has to make their own decisions on stuff. But I do not want to become allergic to walnut. So if I'm sanding walnut, I definitely wait for a nice day outside with a breeze, because I don't have any interest in becoming allergic to walnut, because it's my favorite, and I don't want to be able to not be able to use it. Yeah. There's my lecture for the day. Anyway, that's it. 3 beer, just about an hour. Had some good conversation with some friends. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. I appreciate everybody that's watching this after the fact. If you stuck through this nonsense and you're still watching, vote down below for what you want me to turn. I remind you again, if you want to support what I do, you can head over to patreon.com/woodenthings and stuff, like my boy Beckham, and you support me over there and maybe win something, because there is a bowl draw coming up over there that I will leave a link to me turning it up in the corner. And I don't need all of these 15 either that I'm going to be making over the next 15 weeks. So some of those will probably be draws over there too. I'll probably do a pen draw over there once I get my new 60 pen kits from Penn State Industries. I don't need 60 pens. So there'll be pen draws happening over there too. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. See you next time. Thanks everybody, stop by. You have a good night too, Mr. Beckham. You're on the clock. You're working right now. You got an awesome job that you can watch this nonsense while you're getting paid, dude. What do you do for a living? That's the job I want. Watch somebody ramble on about woodworking for an hour on YouTube while I'm getting paid. That'd be great. All right. Oh, Trevor Grieg just got here. You got any questions, Trevor? I'll hang out for a few more minutes. I got another beer. You missed the shop tour, dude. There's an impromptu shop tour. And we talked about the changes that are coming to the channel. I'm going to be going live every Friday, 5:30, West Coast of North America. And I'm going to turn something live every Friday. Because beard trimming tips, Trevor, beard trimming tips. Just let it go, dude. Just let it do what it's going to do. If it starts getting out of hand, I have my hair clipper that I do my head with. I just take the guard off of it and I just kind of like knock the ends off over the sink when they start flaring out. And it becomes what it becomes. That's my beard trimming tips. Yeah, that's it. And then actually once these patches here start getting like they puff out, then I actually I'll brush them out and just knock them down with the hair trimmer thing. You know what I should do? I should do a beard trimming tutorial on my woodworking channel. That would go well for me. I'm sure that would go over really well. People would really like if I did a beard trimming tutorial on my woodworking YouTube channel. Anyway, that's it for this one. Sorry that you came in late, Trevor, but I appreciate that you stopped by. It's going to be up for perfectly. So, what would you recommend for a good finish on cherry being outdoors? Trevor, really? Okay, 2 problems. At least 2 problems. Why are you making something out of cherry that's going outdoors? Use a cheaper, crappier wood. Or a better, more robust wood. When I make things for outdoors, it's a sacrificial thing. I use pine and cedar and whatever I can get cheap, or you use really expensive waterproof type woods like ipe and teak, because it's not gonna wind chime. Fixing up a wind chime for his mother-in-law. Okay, you have two options. You have finish it with something that you can refinish easily. So just a straight oil wax type finish that you're going to have to redo, depending on where you're living and what kind of weather and whether it's under an overhang and what kind of treatment it's getting from the outdoors. You could do just a straight oil wax blend and refinish it every year. Just take it down, give it a quick new wipe with finish and put it back up. Or you can try, likely unsuccessfully, to give it a weatherproof finish like a spar urethane, but it's not going to work. I mean, depending on if it's under an awning, or if it's not getting direct wind and rain and snow, maybe, but you need a UV protective spar urethane, and it's going to disintegrate over time, and then you're going to have to strip it and refinish it. So I lean towards the let it weather attitude. If you want to do just a straight oil wax kind of finish and then recoat it every year because it's easy to just give it a new quick wipe of finish, you can go that way. But I think outdoor furniture, outdoor things are you just kind of have to expect them to go over time. Thompson Water Seal, it's a deck product, and it depends. I know people that have used Thompson Water Seal on decks that it's designed for, that it didn't hold up because the moisture in the wood rejected the Thompson, or because just the environment that it's in just is too punishing for finishes. Like, you can't expect things to live outside and not have problems. I don't know that anybody, if there are people out there, this is my opinion, if there are people out there who are telling you that this finish will win over nature, they are lying to you. Because unless you could dip an Adirondack chair in epoxy, and nature will win. Like, it's over time, it's okay. So this wind chime was oak, and it disintegrated after 10 years. So you're rebuilding it, and she'll be happy if it gets a couple more years. Yeah. Okay. So I think you just give it an oil wax finish, and on Mother's Day every year you take it down and give it a new coat. That's. What about using cedar or white oak? They stand up pretty good outdoors without any finish. Yeah, what they do, because of the silica, and the property. Well, white oak and cedar, yes and no. Everybody says that cedar is a great outdoor wood, but it's still going to disintegrate, just in a different way. And it'll still go gray and it'll weather, But yeah, like that's what I mean when I say just let it do what it do, because I don't have a problem with a nice outdoor cedar chair that's gray and weathered. I think that's cool. White oak, I've never actually made anything and put it outside with white oak. I have a white oak coffee table in the basement. But yeah, I mean, you use outdoor resilient woods that bugs don't like, that rot doesn't like. Rot isn't a thing. The bugs don't have feelings. Yeah, I've been told mahoganies, actual members of the Melisae family, are good outdoor materials that don't rot easily, but they are going to weather, and you're just going to have to accept it. I wouldn't dip something in epoxy and just hope that it stands up. All right. You betcha, Trev. I appreciate you stopping in, man. I am going to go cook some spicy hot dogs. I'm probably not going to be impressed with them. But that's what supper is. And then it's my buddy Mark's birthday today, so he's coming over to have a couple of drinks out on the back deck, socially, physically distanced, because we're responsible human beings. And yeah, that's it for this one. Hey, you guys gave me an extra 20 minutes worth of stuff there asking questions. See, that's how this can go if you guys communicate. Show up on time next time, Trevor. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. See you next time. Bye for now. Ah, that chair.